Om Namo Bhagavate Ramakrishna. Om. Salutations to Bhagavan Ramakrishna. We take up the life of Tejchandra Mitra. In the Sri Ramakrishna's divine play, we had the major actors, the minor actors, the significant, the insignificant, but they are all part of that divine play. So we have Tejchandra Mitra, who was one of those minor players. But what we get into this brief life, which is mentioned here, of course, the brief life, is interaction with Sri Ramakrishna, was that it shows Sri Ramakrishna in various perspectives. And that's the idea. When we are studying these lives, we get a different, you can say, let's say, perspective, a new dimension of Sri Ramakrishna opens up. So he was one time was traveling by trams in India. We had this, and it's probably horse-drawn trams, and he was pickpocketed. Somebody had deposited 200 rupees, and that was a big amount in those days, with him. And then when he discovered that he was pickpocketed and he didn't have the financial means to compensate for that, he was, devastated and like a madman. What to do? He went to the banks of the Ganges, weeping and weeping and weeping. Sri Ramakrishna appeared to him. Why are you weeping? Saying, there, the money is there under the brick there. And he got up from the seat, went to that brick which was fallen down, and he found the money there. Now, this is something that we find in Sri Ramakrishna's life. If the prayer is sincere, the Lord will appear to you. Because the first, you can say, job of the Lord is to take the distress of the devotees. And as Sri Ramakrishna says, an avatar is for devotees. The Gyanis don't need him so much, not the yogis, whatever. So here we find Sri Ramakrishna responding even to something like this mundane. It may appear mundane, but that has upset him so much that he was praying hard. So Tejchandra Mitra, born in 1863 at Bospara Lane in Bagh Bazar. That is one of those areas in Calcutta which somehow a lot of devotees had kind of converged. They were born, as I say. And that was one of the principal places of Sri Ramakrishna's divine play in Calcutta, of course. So, he was the eldest of 5 brothers, and his father was more or less well off, and he had an interest in gymnastics and wrestling, etc., and he had built a gym there. He first met Sri Ramakrishna in 1883, along with, there was another disciple of Sri Ramakrishna, monastic disciple, not then, but his name was Harinath, that is, who later became Swami Turiyananda. They lived in the same locality and they were both friends. And they had gone to Dakshineshwar together. So the master asked him, "Are you married?" He said, "Yes, sir." And he was already married by that time. So Sri Ramakrishna said, all right. Okay. So he said, one day you let me see your wife. I want to see whether she's a Vidya Shakti or an Avidya Shakti. Women are classed like Sri Ramakrishna classed them. Vidya Shakti. Vidya is knowledge, the power of knowledge. And Avidya Shakti is the power of ignorance. So the former, the Vidya Shaktis, they lead people to God. And Avidya, I don't have to spell it out. So he had asked him to get the wife and say, "I want to see this." But she could not ever meet Sri Ramakrishna. But Swami Turiyananda, who was then Harinath, he told the master that her signs were good and she had a spiritual inclination and she would help a husband realize God. And that's the idea. The idea of marriage was the wife helps the husband realize God. The husband helps the wife realize God. And that is the goal of life. So Sri Ramakrishna was kind of pleased, and then he had told Tejchandra, visit this place that is here, Dakshineshwar, or him, on Tuesdays and Saturdays. So why Tuesdays and Saturdays? Well, these days are auspicious to the Divine Mother. So that's why. So that was his first visit with Sri Ramakrishna. This next visit was the second. He went to Swami Turiyananda's place, which was in the neighborhood. That neighborhood is more or less still there. Very few changes have taken place out there. And he saw that his friend Harinath, Swami Turiyananda, wasn't at home. So he left alone and he went to Dakshineshwar. So Sri Ramakrishna was very pleased to see him. And he says it was a Sunday and he took me out on the southern veranda. That is the place where you can see the Kali temple straight. So the master asked him, whom do you like as your chosen deity? And the boy said, he never replied, saying, I did not respond. Oh, the master said, you don't like to mention it. All right. He pointed to Kali. I mean, now from that vantage point, you can see the image. You can see the temple, but that is indicative of the same. He pointed to Kali saying, you like this deity, isn't it true? And he said, I nodded my head and the master gave me a mantra. Now, here it is, a guru like Sri Ramakrishna, he can detect what is the presiding deity of the person. Now, this is something which we discussed it last Sunday also, that each person has an aspect of a deity. And as there are many people, there are many aspects of the many deities. So a guru like Sri Ramakrishna can immediately detect. How? Well, they say that the divinity which is there begins to manifest itself in the presence of the guru or as spiritual practices. That deity will make you do spiritual practices. It will lead you to the right place and take you to the right path. So it means that that deity had kind of awakened, and it was apparent to Sri Ramakrishna. Yeah, we can kind of detect who's what, who's the presiding deity or who. So, and that is how in the old days the gurus used to judge who's the disciple. Not on, oh, that person now he's got a good many degrees and he's a rich and this and that. No. That was not the criteria. So they used to see that deity manifest. So then he said, so Sri Ramakrishna, isn't it true? Yes. He nodded his head, and the master gave him a mantra. Now, it's a Kali mantra. Especially in India, we have these family gurus. For generations, one family is a guru of another family. Many families, and they have this called a Kula Guru, the guru of the clan. So that guru kind of gives the mantra. So it's a traditional kind of guru discipleship. You get a free disciple. I mean, it's ready-made, and the guru also is there. So these gurus, they were family gurus. So he said, what if my family guru gets annoyed? They used to get annoyed. Oh, why did we take a mantra from someone else? I am supposed to be your family's guru. Yeah, the fight of the gurus. So Sri Ramakrishna, you don't worry. You take that mantra that the guru gives you also. And if you don't want to, just pay him his fees and let him go. And so the master fed him, and then he returned home, spending the whole day. The next time he went was during a Kali Puja. Now that is a day, that a special Kali Puja, which she, as the mother of the universe, she accepts all the fruits of your karma. That's why it's called Phala Harini. Harini is to take all the fruits, all the karma, you can say, results. So it's like, it was also on this day that Sri Ramakrishna had worshipped Holy Mother and had offered everything to her. His 12 years of spiritual practices, his rosary, his realizations and everything, that was a momentous, you can say, event in the life, in the spiritual history of the world, where an avatar gives everything that he has in the keeping of his wife. So it was on that day, not that day, but on that particular Kali Puja. So he had come to attend the Kali Puja and visit the master. And he was more interested in, will I get food here in the night? And before puja, you're not supposed to eat. You're supposed to stay hungry. You fast. And after the puja, and he was getting restless, and after the puja, Sri Ramakrishna fed him. It was about 1 o'clock in the morning. So as he was leaving, they returned to the room, where the Kali Puja was, and they returned to them. And then Sri Ramakrishna directly asked him, "What do you want?" He was taken aback. And, there are sometimes people are like, fortunate or unfortunate. So it came to his mind, I should ask him for money. This is how Maya works. Ask for liberation. But he kept quiet. So Sri Ramakrishna said, "All right, I understand what you want." So the next morning he returned. And so that 200 rupees he found under that brick was one of those things that Sri Ramakrishna had said, "Okay, I'll give you money." He wasn't a very well-off disciple, but he was also working, and that's the reason why he couldn't frequent Sri Ramakrishna and Dakshineshwar. But he used to meet Girish Ghosh and all the other disciples here. And he had a kind of a working relationship with Girish Ghosh, because Girish Ghosh was, let's say, he was a bohemian. He had a bad reputation. And Sri Ramakrishna going and seeing people like Girish, people had started talking about him. What is this? He's supposed to be a holy man. And this fellow, he is the incarnation of a Satan, if there was. But Sri Ramakrishna was a better judge of people than the persons who were talking about these things. So so Sri Ramakrishna used to also inquire. When he used to come to Calcutta, Sri Ramakrishna, he used to ask, why don't you come? I keep on asking about you. And then he used to also ask the other devotees, what does he think of me? That think of me, and so what conception he has of me. See, what conception we have of God will lead you to God, either soon or fast. It's a kind of a tepid, it's not a very sharp, not clearly defined conception of God. Then your boat is going to be rocking for a while. Once the conception of God or the reality within you is fixed, that is, you are sure this is what it is, then you move much quickly. So Sri Ramakrishna, in asking what does he think about, and Sri Ramakrishna never used to say about what does he think about me, about this place. He used to always say this place, this body or something. So you can see that if that conviction was perfect, like we had Purna Chandra, the previous householder, that when he's saying, what do you think of me? Sri Ramakrishna is saying, you are God himself, you're embodied for the good of the world. Look at, and Sri Ramakrishna was so delighted. Look at that. So this is the difference. So Sri Ramakrishna used to ask, why? Not because Sri Ramakrishna was kind of vain. What do you think of me? He wanted to gauge the depth of the disciples, you can say bhava, or the conception of the reality. That is why he used to ask. So, and then he said, he told him, saying, is there anything impossible for the grace of God? Suppose you bring a light into a room that has been dark 1,000 years. Does it remove the darkness little by little? The darkness is removed immediately. So he used to encourage this and saying, you should practice calling on God every day. It is not possible to succeed in one day. Through daily prayer, you will come to long for God. Then he's saying, how can you feel that restlessness if you are immersed in worldliness day and night? So this is what, it's a kind of a, why does this daily practice is recommended. It's recommended because it will become part of your personality, part of your character. Because this is important to understand subtle spiritual truths. You can understand things with an ordinary mind. But to understand subtle spirituality, and I mean real spirituality, you have to have a very subtle kind of mind. And that subtle mind is prepared in the fire of spiritual practices. Because spiritual practice first is making you inwards. A normal, you can say, senses of the mind is going outwards, because that's what we are distracted with. A person may be great, but you tell him, sit down and try to meditate for 10 minutes. You see how restless they become. No, I've got to rush. That is a test, inwardness. So we have heard, I've seen also people sitting down for hours and hours and sometimes the whole day. So what is behind that inwardness? It is the spiritual practices, nothing else. Little by little, they have kind of gone inside deeper and deeper and deeper. And what is there inside? There's a self inside. The self that is immortal. So, and this is Sri Ramakrishna he was telling him this. There we don't know what exactly happened, whether he was doing it, but we can take it that Sri Ramakrishna's instructions were carried out. So, and then he called Tejchandra, saying, come and sit down beside me. It was in a big group and saying, but then he whispered, I have to leave soon because I've got some work. And he was, one of the students in that school in which M, the recorder of the gospel, was a headmaster. And M, Mahendranath Gupta, he had that intuition. When he used to look at the students, you could gauge that there are some who are interested in spirituality and who has got spiritual. He used to invite them to Dakshineshwar or call them. So he had a lot of Tejchandra, Purna, Paltu, Narayan, and some other boys were there. So they were all his students. He was a nice teacher. Kind of. So again, Sri Ramakrishna used to, on another occasion, he had gone to attend, Sri Ramakrishna had gone to attend a chariot festival at Balram Basu's. Now, chariot festival is nothing, it's translated chariot. It's a Rath Yatra. It's in the honor of the God Jagannath, the Lord of the universe. Otherwise, it's not a chariot race, a chariot. So the Lord is put on a small chariot and taken around the place in the locality or outside the temple. So Sri Ramakrishna had gone, and Sri Ramakrishna says, I send for you often. Why don't you come? If you practice meditation and prayer, it will make me happy. I look on you as my own. That is why I send for you. Now, this is amazing that the Guru himself is taking all the trouble to see if the disciple is kind of okay, in a ship shape, and trying to egg him on. So he says, I have to go to the office and I'm busy with my duties, etc., etc. And, the usual things. And so that was one of the reasons why his visits to Sri Ramakrishna, to Dakshineshwar, were rare after 2 or 3 visits of his. And then when he came to Calcutta, Sri Ramakrishna, there also this young man was busy. So he heard Sri Ramakrishna passed away, and he was grief-stricken. So we see a kind of a life that has been kind of, not a kind of a grand life, but in his life you see there's one advantage, that he had a guru like Sri Ramakrishna, and he had his chosen ideal as Kali. That's very powerful. He was also very altruistic. He used to help people, go out of his way to, in every possible way. One time he was suffering from an asthma, and it was almost incurable, and he tried various medicines and nothing was happening. So, and he was praying to Sri Ramakrishna. So one day, a holy man, a monk, he appeared in front of him, his house, and said, "Here, take this medicine." And this Tejchandra accepted the medicine, but he asked, "How much should I pay?" He said, "No, nothing. You don't have to pay anything." Now, this guy, he was curious, saying, "No payment? What? Maybe he's trying to, rope me in for something more or something like that. Maybe his motives are not very pure. So maybe he's scheming to get more money from me later, or whatever." So he took the medicine, and he never took that medicine. He never drank that medicine. So after a couple of days, Sri Ramakrishna appeared to him. Now this is the second time Sri Ramakrishna appeared to him. What's this? And then he's saying, because he had consulted his doctor, he's saying, no, don't take all this kind of doubtful, you can say, medicine some monk has given you. It will damage you. So he had kept it there in his place, and then Sri Ramakrishna appeared to him and said, "Hey, you still doubt?" Sri Ramakrishna said, "Still you doubt?" Immediately Tejchandra got up and took the medicine, and from that day on, he never again suffered from asthma. We would like to know what the medicine is. But it's clear that Sri Ramakrishna knew that as a monk who had come and given, maybe Sri Ramakrishna had come in the guise of that monk. Yeah, obviously you can draw the connections there. And so he was cured. He and his wife used to frequent Holy Mother house and pay her their obeisance. And because their homes were very nearby, and Holy Mother used to like both of them, both Tejchandra and his wife also. So life was like that, and then one time, Holy Mother, towards the end, he was about 45, 49, something like that. Yeah, he was 49. He had a son who was grown up, and he's saying, now my father is spending a lot of time in meditation and japa. So this is what actually happens. The beginning and the end is good. In the middle, something happens. It's not very important. In Vedanta, it says, Upakrama, Upasangara. The beginning and the end should match. In the middle, what happens, it's not very important. So he was constantly meditating and sitting in front of Sri Ramakrishna's picture. And he was always joyful, his son said, saying, I couldn't leave much money for you all. Yeah, he wanted money from Sri Ramakrishna, get the wealth. But this is another thing. Sri Ramakrishna will not give you too much wealth. You don't come to Sri Ramakrishna for wealth. You go to someone else. Sri Ramakrishna will give you only that much that is required for you. So that was, because he was the very embodiment of renunciation. So he said, but I have left behind you the legacy of the Master. He will be with you. And so that was what he left for the family. Holy Mother, one time, she was in Calcutta and she says, one day, she called somebody, Tejchandra is dying. You take this sanctified water, that is, after the puja, the water that's there, taken, it's very sanctified, and it's called Charanamrita. So, Amrita is nectar from the feet of the god. So she says, Tejchandra is dying, carry this sanctified water to him right now. And then she said, he is waiting for this sanctified water. And the sanctified water was taken to Tejchandra. He took a sip of it and he passed away. So there it was. That is the most beautiful way to go away. Holy Mother later tells Swami Shardananda, you tried a lot to help Tejchandra in his final illnesses, but the Master has taken him away. So that is what actually, so Sri Ramakrishna, when he takes the responsibility of the disciple, he takes it to the very end. You will see that he will come and liberate him. So this is Sri Ramakrishna. And so this is what Holy Mother says. You tried to save him, send medicines, etc., etc., but then Sri Ramakrishna himself came and took him away. This was Tejchandra Mitra's life. We don't find too many references in either the Gospel except 2 or 3 places, or even in the divine play of Sri Ramakrishna. But he was there. He used to frequent the monastery and help in things. So this was a life that he wasn't an ideal householder disciple, but then who is an ideal? There's no ideal householder disciple. So there are very different types of householder disciples, and he was one of them. In studying this brief life, we also get this hope that yes, if we do what Sri Ramakrishna has kind of recommended a little, he will come at the last point and take it away. Okay. We stop here. The next householder disciple life is the younger Narendra Nath Mitra. That's another. So we look at it. That's next Friday. Tomorrow we have a retreat at Tapavan from 1 to 5. Guided meditation, QA, flower offerings, etc. Sunday we have here Karma Yoga. We have mother's children also. Karma Yoga is a path to freedom. Om Shanti 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 Harihi Om Tat Sat. Sri Ramakrishna Arpanamastu.